Welcome to Be Bold Branding. Today's guest is one of our BrandFace real estate agents from Wycoff, New Jersey, and she knows how to put her brand to work better than anybody we know. You'll learn how she feels about her brand and how her team is using it daily to bring in new leads and new business. I'm Tanya Eberhardt, founder of BrandFace, where we help real estate agents differentiate themselves, and we do that through personal branding. In fact, we are the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe.
Hey folks, I'm Michael Carr. I'm the COO of BrandFace. You should know I was actually a client before I became a partner in the company. And we do Be Bold branding to help you take the fear out of putting yourself out there. And this lady we're going to introduce you to is a perfect example of that. We'd like to welcome Maryanne Elsaessar from Christie's International.
Hi guys, thanks for having me. I'm so excited. That was an awesome introduction. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you for being here. And so let's start off with this. For those, who don't know your story, tell us how and why you got into real estate, Marianne.
So I felt that there was a void with service components. I felt that at the time, everything was very transaction based. How many listings you have on the board, let's move the transactions through. And it really was by accident because we were stuck with some properties the last market crash. And I decided to reactivate my license really just to simplify things and cut out the next step. And so afterwards, my friends started calling me to help them. And it wasn't necessarily a plan for me to sell real estate ever. I was just helping a couple of friends and it evolved into a huge business.
Isn't that how it works? You just tripped on it.
I literally fell in my lap.
That's awesome.
Yep. No, that's really cool when you come into it solving a problem and then it becomes something that you're passionate about and great at, and it grows exponentially. I love to hear those kind of stories.
Yeah. It's always about problem, solution. It's that simple.
Yep. It really
Sure
is. That's exactly right. So, hey, tell everybody, why did you decide to come into the BrandFace program?
So I felt at the time, so I was building a team. It was at the beginning phases of the team, and all of the local teams brand their personal name. And then outside of that, the team has limited opportunity to expose themselves. And number one, I have a very difficult name. So even when the team was on the phone saying, yeah, I'm with the Maryanne Elsaessar group, it just wasn't rolling well. And I wanted to have something where we can work collaboratively together and give them the opportunity to build their own brand. Ultimately, anytime you have a team or a buyer's agent, they're going to springboard and move on. And I encourage that. Like, I want to incubate them and let them be free if they want to. I have some team members that want to stay, they're lifers, and that's okay. But transparency, collaboration, honesty, and we sat down and you had offered many different options. And when we sat down together to discuss like what the best one would be, we seem to all love the Jersey Shore. We love the beach. So we thought that concept of the compass rose and the home navigators would be just a perfect fit for the team.
Yep. So let's talk about your brand for a moment. Tell everyone what your brand identifier is and how that fits you.
Home Navigators. It's really the best brand in the whole world for us. We help families navigate their transactions and we simplify it, bring calm to it, but yet do business smart and strategically navigate those transactions. So we play with those words all the time.
Love it. And that's one of my favorite identifiers, right? Because that's what you're doing. You're navigating every facet of the business as well as the home they want and helping them find that, locate that area. That's one of our favorites. Yeah. And the fact that the fact that you put that in as a team also is even better, because we have people ask that a lot of times. Well, can I brand a team and how does that work? And you're such a perfect example of that. So home now.
I also think that in general, the client base doesn't really understand the multifaceted complications to a transaction. Right. So being able to embrace that concept of navigating really just puts it out there as you're the knowledge broker. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When you can own that and take control of it, and navigate that for them, I really feel like you just own the space.
Agreed, 100%. And so that leads us to two questions that we always ask. What is the easiest part of the branding process, in your opinion?
The easiest part, I think it's all really easy. You guys make it so simple. Seriously, it's so thought out. It's so organized and orchestrated. The hard part is making the time to really think through the process, because you really forced me to think about every single answer, and it really pushed me to understand who I am as a person and how then we can communicate that to the community, because I'm not going to be the right fit for every person. So if they don't like the package that we've developed, they probably wouldn't like me anyway. At the same time, it filters out or gives people the opportunity to say, hey, I like that. I like what she's all about. I like that she comes from a place of service, right? So you're going to have like maybe a person that really wants a hardcore negotiator that, you know, is going to take the other side down. That's never going to be me, and I'm going to walk away from it anyway. So why even go on that listing appointment? It makes no sense.
That's true. And I remember when early in the process we were talking about this, and that was one of your concerns. You wanted to come across with a nice bold brand, but you wanted to do so from a place of service. And that's because that's who you really are, and that's what your entire team embraces. But you know, having the sheer fact that this is called Be Bold branding, a really good, well-developed brand does make you feel bolder about some things. So how does your brand make you feel bolder?
I just think that number one, loving it is the first component. Seriously, we love the brand. We tout it all the time. And I think one of the things that you made me realize was that you can be very strong in business, but yet carry a lighter side to you. And I think that's been really good for our energy, you know? So right down to prior to that, any one of our team pictures or individual pictures, we were dressed very formally, right? So when you're in Northwest Bergen County in New Jersey, and hey, COVID changed a lot and everything's more casual, but it's very common to expect somebody to be in a business suit or, you know, a Givenchy dress or something. And so we kind of scaled that back a little bit. And yeah, there are certain times like in the luxury market where we have to play the role. But I don't know if you've noticed, but we've really been more natural in our space, you know? So when we're on a photo shoot, we'll do shoots in front of the houses and we're more casual. And I think that brand allows us to be us. And that's the most important thing. Finding that space of who exactly you are and then delivering that out to the end user.
I have noticed that you guys have, it's much more of a family and approachable atmosphere that you're creating, and pulling in your team members and sharing the fun moments. And even, didn't you have your beagle on post one day?
Rebel.
That's right.
I love it.
Because I think people really want to know who they're working with. They want to know who you are as a person. And any one of us could, you know, fill this line of baloney and go out there and, you know, have hair perfect all the time and be this person, but then they see you at the grocery store and that's not who you are. So I think it really develops trust. Like when they can see that in the brand, they know that you're ready to step it up when you need to be professional, but you're you. And I think people now, more now than ever, really want to know who they're working with, because there's a lot, and I don't know about in the South, maybe it's different down there, but in the North, there's a lot of suspicion, you know?
Yeah. That's the beauty of personal branding. It's really why it's called personal branding. On the back of all our books, you know, it says people don't do business with a logo, they do business with a person. But we always like to say as well, people want to know the story behind the face.
Yeah.
It's who am I doing? What human being am I doing business with here?
Yeah. And listen, I had some really good pieces before. I'm a really good writer, but the way you guys framed it for me, because it's really hard to talk about yourself. And that's where I was when I met you. Like, I can write anything and make it sound good, but I can't talk about me because it's kind of not that important. I don't need that attention. I don't need people to say I'm fabulous. I'm more behind the scenes. So when you put it in writing, and I don't know if you remember, but, and I don't really cry. I actually started crying, you know, and that says volumes of how much attention you guys put into that, you know?
I remember that very well. And it is actually
embarrassing.
Yeah, sometimes we're called the Barbara Walters of branding, right?
100%.
But that is actually a very common occurrence when we do our brand messaging reveals, honestly. So you're not alone.
It'll say, I make people cry.
Yeah, it should say that probably, right? But that's because, you know, for the first time, I think a lot of people are hearing their own story through someone else's eyes.
Yeah.
And it's a powerful moment.
Yeah, it really was, because you almost, I mean, I'll speak for me. I felt guilty about talking about all of my accolades, right? And so when I gave it to you to do and it came back to me in such an amazing way, it was really powerful. Yeah.
Excellent.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful, because that's the goal, you know, and it's just as powerful to the other people, as you said, when they're checking you out before they call you, before they do business with you, and they're looking at all of your social media, and they're looking at your brand and how it's developed, and they're finding out about you from your biography and stuff. They're doing that long before they call us, and that's nationwide. And so for it to be out there in a way that they can figure out what a great person you are and how that you have approached this from, you know, a service first type of mentality is incredible. And it drags business in. We noticed how busy you've been. So that's been awesome.
Here's something really cool. And I don't know if you've done any sort of statistics with anybody else, but what's really cool is I've been able to get some time back. So I'm going on fewer appointments, but converting more. And that to me is a win-win, because in this space, when you're working 7 days a week and you're just constantly out there, if you can gain back 2 hours from a listing appointment that wasn't going to be a fit anyway, that's a big win. You know,
that's a big win.
I think it's a big win.
So glad you said that. That is, you nailed it. It's actually one of the big things. We have a lot of people come to us and say, you know, believe it or not, you know, I don't really need to make more money than I'm making right now. I just don't want to work myself to death to get to that. I want to work smarter, not harder. Yeah. And it does that.
And
yeah, I don't want everybody to call me. I want the right people to call.
That's right.
Because the thing is, if you don't have good synergy with the client, it's torture. Anybody will tell you that. It's absolute torture. All you want to do is close the transaction. And what's really changed is just that ability. It's almost like an online dating site, right? So you have this situation where people like you, they call you because they like you. Everybody finds like-minded people. And then when you meet, the whole process is so much simpler and smoother, and they trust you, right? So when the other person that wouldn't have called you calls you and they're skeptical and there's no trust, that transaction is more difficult because they don't lean into you, so they hold back. So when they drop into you and they allow you to navigate the transaction, it is an outstanding experience for everybody. It's a win-win.
Truly is.
I sound like I'm selling this for you.
I love it. Keep it up, Marianne. You're doing
great. Marianne.
The floor is yours. No, you know, and those are the people that give you repeat business. Those are the people that refer you. Those are the people that build the business. They're the cheerleaders. That's the people that you're not connected with, that, like you said, you're going to just really load the entire thing. You're going to do the same job. You're going to do a great job. You're going to be honest with them. You're going to have fiduciary responsibilities. You're going to look after them. Yep. But odds are they're not calling you back or referring you, and you're glad the transaction's over. Absolutely. And when you're after that ideal customer and dial that in, you're exactly right. That 100%.
Is we have a lot of fun. And, you know, when I need to negotiate hard, you know, the first line is, Okay, guys, you're going to see somebody in me who you weren't expecting. So just get ready.
Get ready. Brace yourself.
That's perfect.
Yep, I love it. Well, you pretty much have done it, but can you tell us how your brand has set you apart and secured business for you?
Um, First of all, the agent population is totally in a space where they recognize us as the home navigators, which is awesome. But more importantly, people don't actually know what company I work for. They literally in town, and our towns are very sort of pocketed, right? So they're very tight knit little communities. Each town has their own little tight knit, right? And literally we'll be walking down the street and they're like, oh, there's the navigators. And honestly, they have no clue that I work for Christie's. So I think that's a huge differentiator. The other thing is we've been very playful with the actual social media marketing. We've really embraced that. We're developing, part of what we've been doing with the candles and some other products is we're developing a line for resale so that, when somebody wants to replace one of the products, they'll have it. So just constantly being in that space. And the t-shirts that we ordered, people like, I have people that say, hey, listen, I want to give this t-shirt to one of my friends. So they're all walking around with these Home Navigator t-shirts. We have these awesome backpacks, and we're constantly getting pictures from people that are flying to another state with their backpacks. So I think that's a big differentiator because nobody in our area does anything like that. It's all their personal name and then tied to whatever the company is. So it'll be, I'll make up a name because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. It'll be like, Smith and Carney team or, so-and-so's team. And I don't think you can brand that because nobody wants to walk around with a person's name on their chest, but they will walk around with this big compass rose that says Home Navigators trademarked,
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. Show us the candle you're talking about.
Yeah, I was going to
Marianne.
ask that. Show us the candle. Tell everybody about the candle. What
How
you've done
can
here.
we use this? You want me to tell the story?
Yeah.
All right. So the story for the candle is that I love scents. I always wear the same perfume all the time. This way, when I walk into a room, they know I'm there. And our family went to Turks and Caicos and stayed at this one place, and the scent was amazing. And I've been on the hunt for this scent forever. And I said to the team, like, wouldn't it be really amazing if we had a custom scent made and every single time somebody walked into one of our homes, it smelled the same? So then I sent my daughter out on a mission to do custom scents. So we had several different scents that we were able to pick from. And then we designed a label on Canva. I love Canva. I don't know if you guys use Canva.
Oh, we love it. We have a tutorial about it. We love it so much.
Yeah.
Right? It's honestly the best. And so now those scents are in every home. And I've actually had people ask me for candles, which, what better advertising than a Home Navigator candle?
And hey, and you even take it a step further. I got to say this because, as you said, you're developing this line so they can actually, they get one complimentary for doing business with you. You pass them out as gifts, whatever. But then if they want some more, that pays for your advertising on others, and it just continues to snowball. And the scent is just as authentic as you are. And so that is a fantastic idea. We were so excited.
We're actually thinking of doing seasonal customs. So taking the same thing and maybe putting holly here for Christmas and just doing those 1 month releases. So yeah.
Yep. I love it.
The sense of smell is actually one of the most powerful senses you can have. And most of us relate it to home, right? We can walk into a place and it's like, oh, that smells like grandma's house. And all of a sudden you get these warm fuzzies, So the fact that you're creating a scent wrapped around home and Home Navigators is brilliant.
Yeah,
I love it.
Absolutely is.
Well, the other problem too, and this was part of generating it. Like, I'm allergic to those plugins. So when somebody has those plugins, I cough through the whole open house. So that was the other part of it. I'm like, it doesn't smell so good in here. We need a solution. So I figure if I throw like 3 of these at a listing, it's going to smell like us.
I
That's
love it.
right. That's right. They won't be able to get away from you at any turn.
No.
Between shirts and backpacks and candles and people talking about you on the street. So one final question for you. There are business owners and entrepreneurs and sales pros out there who are really afraid to put themselves out there in the way that you have. They have some of the same concerns that you shared in the beginning. They're not afraid to put themselves out there. Maybe they just don't know how to do it. What would you say to those people about becoming a brand face?
It's pretty simple. It's a no-brainer. Call BrandFace. Call Tanya and Michael. Get it done. I mean, honestly, it. And again, like, you know, when you're looking at different marketing things and you're always, I spend, I think last year, should I even say, just on marketing, I spent about $150,000. So that's a big number. So when you're constantly looking at different products to increase your business, and everybody's got a different budget, like whatever you need to do, delegate it to the people who know what they're doing. Like that's one thing that I've learned in my life. Like I don't go out there and say, I'm a staging company. I'm not. I hire a stager. I don't go and take my own pictures. I have the same relationship with the photographer for the past 10 years. I treat him really well. He does amazing pictures, video, whatever. Hire a professional. It will pay for itself and then some. Like it not only in terms of monetary translation, but just the fun that you can have with the brand. Like, why not be in a space where you can have fun with a brand, make money doing it? Honestly, like it's a no-brainer. And listen, hindsight is 20/20 vision. You know, going into it, I don't know that I could have been that convicted with the statement. It was probably more like, well, all right, let's try it. If I lose another X amount of money, you know, whatever. But the outcome was amazing, and you have outperformed anything that I have ever expected. And I didn't even fully have to use everything because just the beginning parts that I embraced blew it out of the park. So
now you're going to make us cry.
I know. Now you're going to turn it around on us, Marianne.
That's right.
I mean, am I talking to like other people who might be using you? Because here's what I'm going to say. Like, it's not an option. You need to call them. If you need to put it on a credit card, they're not paying me. Not kidding. They're not paying me for this. You need to do it. Honestly, it's been that beneficial to the business.
We're so glad to hear that. Yeah. That is our ultimate goal every time with every client. So
yes, thank you so much for those kind
words.
You
have a raving fan here. Raving.
You have too, right?
Yeah,
here.
Yes, you do.
We always have been. You know, I have to say from the very beginning, you know, we got on the initial calls together, and I knew you were just a force, right? You were such an intelligent businesswoman. You could tell that, right? You know, from the beginning. But within 5 minutes, I knew you had like this giant heart that you were probably not going to let everybody know quite how big it is.
No, I can't. You have to protect yourself. You know?
Yes.
I mean, yes. Is way bigger than the body, and you know, it's okay. You just have to protect yourself. I kind of like coming across as being a little bit stronger, and then if I feel like it, I'll give you my heart.
I love it.
Well, your heart comes out whether you try or not, Marianne, and we're so honored to have you in the BrandFace family, and thank you so much for your kind words and for embracing your beautiful brand and being that brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're awesome.
Thanks, and honestly, really, it's been the best thing.
Thank you,
we
Marianne.
love you. Thank you so much.
Yes, and we can't wait to see just how big it continues to get. That's the exciting thing about it. Watching it grow, watching you grow, and your business become even bigger is everything that we always dreamed of. So
yes,
it doesn't even matter. You know, like how much more could you really make? But are you having fun? Are you changing lives? Do you impact people? How are you leaving this world? You know,
that's the blessing. That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. I had a guy tell me years and years ago, he said, Michael, you could keep building bigger houses if you want, but you can only sit in one chair in one room at a time. And it took a certain amount of time before I realized exactly what he was talking about. And you're exactly right. It's the contentment of life. And that's why we say, that it's about prosperity, but prosperity is not just about money. Prosperity is about a content life, the abundant life of, being able to make and do things you love to do and make a living at it, and then be able to pass knowledge and wealth on to other people, help other people. You're a team leader. You're constantly mentoring people in the real estate business on proper ways to do it, proper ethics, the way that conveys from schooling and testing to what it really looks like on the street. And you do that on a constant basis. And no doubt there's great fulfillment in that.
Yeah, it's where I get my joy. Like, how much more money do I need to make? Like, if it happens, it happens. But being able to help other people do this business correctly and ethically, there's a huge level of joy in that. And that's where I really find my space,
Yep.
And I have to add, what's so amazing is you're doing that without expectation, because you say, I want them to grow. If this is a stepping stone, if they want to stay here, if we have some lifers, if they don't, hey, I've taught them more about how to do the business correctly and given them an awesome stepping stone. And I've never heard anybody say that, Marianne.
Yeah. It's funny because I compete against a lot of teams here. And so they'll, everybody wants to be the next Ryan Serhant. They want to be on TV and all of that. And that's okay. Hey, good for them. But they'll have like 12 people on their team and they talk about doing $100 million, and that's out there, and they're pushing those numbers out there. I just find it to be insignificant. Like, I really, if you divide those transactions by the team members, you didn't really outperform an independent agent or a small team. So to me, that's just a farce, right? So my perspective is like, can I help that one person build a business that's strong enough to support their family and then some, pay for colleges? And if at some point they want to leave the team and I've watched them grow, what better joy is there?
Right. That's exactly right. To everybody else out there, if you want to discuss your brand, if you want to talk about your brand, we've created discussyourbrand.com for you to be able to call us and talk to one of our staff members for a free 30-minute session. We'll talk to you about branding, find out where you're at, or just explain what it means, and try to get you to take that next step towards personal branding and that future that you deserve.
It's where the wonderful Marianne got started herself, guys.
Yep.
So if you like what you heard today, we encourage you to like it, share it, and ding, subscribe, so you can be one of the first to know when the next podcast premieres.
Because, folks, that's what we talk about here. And we just said it just a little bit earlier. It's about prosperity. And we're not just talking about money. We know that prosperity is the full 360 of an abundant and content life. And we know that at BrandFace, prosperity favors the bold. So we say, be bold, folks, especially with your brand. And thank you, Miss Tanya. And thank you, Miss Marianne.
You're very welcome.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time on Be Bold Branding.